had Bible study this morning, and one of the things we talked about today was definitions. We are going through Malachi, and it's fascinating because we're doing definitions before we actually start the Bible study, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And now, if we just got a bunch of us together and we started talking about things, depending on where you come in the which part of the country you come from, it might mean a lot of different things. Different words mean different things in the South and the North. Just take soda and pop and Coke. Now, some places a soda is everything. Pop, they look at you like you came out of World War III with your head off. And Coke, some places a Coke also includes Pepsi. So you learn quickly words in different parts of our world mean different things. I have a buffet of my grandma's, and it's really kind of cool. My aunt and uncle gave it to me a few years ago. It sits in my kitchen, and it's this great big beautiful piece of furniture, and I have kids' pictures on it, well, grandkids' pictures on it, and I have some flowers on it right now. And then there's a whole bunch of drawers and little cubbies, and there's all sorts of stuff you can hide in them. So buffets are a wonderful thing. But also, if you live in our area, you can go to the Ocean Star Buffet. Okay, now the Ocean Star Buffet is nothing like my grandma's buffet because it's an eating place and it's about every kind of imagined Asian food you can eat, and it's really, really good. So definitions of words kind of change. And I got to looking too because I was kind of reading out of First Corinthians, and Paul says, I buffet my body. Okay, that's a whole different way instead of buffet, but it's spelled the same. So words, we use them. We need help with certain ones to use. We mispronounce them. We use them out of context. Yet that's really how we communicate. So there's some meanings to buffet or buffet. A self-serve meal is a buffet. And it's also a sideboard, piece of furniture, sideboard, and that comes from the 18th century French, and it's pronounced buffet. And then the old French word buffet, which is B-U-F-E, is like a blow or a puff of wind, and it's buffet is how you would say it in French, I think. And if the wind buffeted or buffets your house, it shakes your house, it rattles your windows, you're in a windstorm. And also sometimes if you are buffeted by bad news, you might shake in your shoes. 1 Corinthians 9:27 has always puzzled me, because Paul says, if I buffet my body and bring it into bondage, lest by any means after I have preached to others, I myself might mean rejected. Okay, what makes much more sense to me are the versions that use words such as discipline or train or control my body instead of the word buffet. But the end of the verse makes a lot more sense when I look at the effects of eating at a buffet and I choose not to stop. So follow me. So buffets make money on me. I know when to stop and I know when to quit. Sometimes we know when to stop something. We've disciplined ourselves. We've trained ourselves. We've buffeted ourselves, but we choose not to follow through. And then another one of those definitions could be used for showing how out of control our life gets when we shake in the wind and when we're blown around because we don't have self-control. Now, the end of that verse talks about consequences, but it always leads me to see and be reminded that it's really not about us, because everything we do in life is an example to others. If we tell others what to do and don't live that out, we're like 1 Corinthians 13 says, we're a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And I might also include a loud foghorn in that. We just spent some time in the Eastern Canadian shores, and we heard a lot of foghorns. Now, especially coming across the bay from Nova Scotia back to Bar Harbor, there we rode this big catamaran. It's called the Cat. And actually, I did kind of time it. The foghorn would blow every 3 minutes. Well, that morning, you could not see what you were doing. When we were driving onto this big catamaran with our car, you couldn't even see the rest of the ship. Foghorns have a purpose. They're for safety during the fog. And when the foghorn blows for no reason or there's not fog, it becomes useless when you actually want people to listen to what you're doing. And our lives are kind of like that. We can get out of control and not be an example and be totally worthless when we try to tell others what to do that we're not doing ourselves. It's kind of like telling the kids to clean up their room when yours resembles a hurricane. Or maybe telling a child to finish their peas when their dad didn't take any, he wouldn't eat them. Okay, I got a little personal there. Ralph Waldo Emerson said something one time. It was a quote, and it says, "What you speak so loudly I can't hear what you say." Now think about that. Is it congruent with what you say? Are the words you use congruent with what you say? Are you disciplining yourself one way and living a different way? Are you buffeting your body one way and then totally living out of control the other? Are your words true words? Words that challenge and words that love. You know, those words, we use them and we'd help with which ones to use, and we mispronounce them and we use them out of context. Yet that's really how we interact with each other, and that is also how we witness to each other. So choose to use your words well, live them out well. However, a well-supplied buffet at Ocean Star Buffet is a wonderful thing to enjoy. Just watch your words.